I really hate selling my house. It's not that I want to stay. It's the process. The process to selling a house is very, almost intense. Getting ready to show, that's the very beginning. You have to declutter, and you're going to do this through the whole process. But you declutter, you get rid of the trash, you go around and make the little repairs, and this takes time. This takes quite a bit of time. So if you think you're going to sell the house, that's probably a good idea to kind of get a little bit of a jump on that. Then you got to pick a realtor and do the listing once you feel like that it's probably in a showable condition, or at least in the beginning of a showable condition. What I did was I got on realtor.com and I started looking at the available realtors, and I looked at the number of sales they had in the last year. And there was some realtors that had maybe 2 or 3 sales over the last year. Realtor.com keeps track of this. But there was one realtor that I found. It's in the town next over, but it's pretty close. He had 30 sales in the last year. Now that's more than one a month. Well, when I called him and I talked to him, actually I might have learned this on realtor.com too. He was actually the trainer for that office. He'd been there 3 years, which is not a tremendous amount of time, but he obviously built himself up quite a little business and a career there. So that was kind of a no-brainer for me, and I'm really glad I got him. He actually let me list the property a little high. He didn't argue with me. We ended up coming down about $20,000, and it took us an extra 3 months. But that's all a part of the process. Now you got to figure out how much it's worth. Now you got to figure out exactly what you want to try to get out of it. I kind of like the idea of starting high because you can always come down. Just have to be willing to come down. It's funny how we value property. We value it as to how much do I need to retire. Oh, I need $100,000. Okay, well that after payoff, I have to get 180 or whatever the number is. You know, and it's crazy that we actually sell our house for what we need. I can't really do that. So you got to kind of look around at the other comps. That takes a lot of work. Hopefully the realtor can take a lot of that off of you, but it is wise to be informed. I use both Zillow. I guess there's homes.com. I've never been there, but I'm sure it's a good one too. I use Zillow. That actually has a Zestimate. They can kind of give you a rough idea. Now, I ended up selling mine for about 15 over what the Zestimate is, so you kind of don't want to just go on that either. One other thing to keep in mind too is nowadays sellers are expected to pay buyers' closing costs. They charge me, or they put in the contract, they wanted me to pay $6,000 of their closing costs on top of both realtors. So it's getting a little bit pricey to help people get in. But then again, the prices of houses nowadays compared to when I bought this is so much higher. So, you know, I can understand it takes an awful lot just to get a down payment going. So we're getting close to close. I'm within 10 days to try to get out of here and get closed. I am fully retired now, which is pretty awesome, but I am so busy. I've got dumpster help today. We're going to load the dumpster. So anyway, let's see. Now that you've picked a realtor, now that you've got a price in mind, now that you've signed all the documents, and believe me, they're all online, and I'm on the phone, and it's tiny, so it doesn't help. I recommend getting on a computer so you can actually see and read this stuff, but they have software that they send you, and you have to take a look at it and then do an e-sign, and everything is e-signed. I swear nobody talks to each other anymore. I don't understand it. Realtors don't talk to each other anymore. They just give you feedback through that, and that's it. You know, you don't even know these other people. So it's a different world. I actually was a licensed realtor years ago. Then the showing. That's fun. Your phone goes off. You got a showing at 1:30. It's 11:30. So you've got to be out. If you got a dog, round them up. I did. Anyway, it's a pain in the butt. I finally just went around the corner to the park because I realized they only take 10 minutes. Now the ones that take 30 or 40 minutes that are looking at the property, they're the ones that are probably interested. I actually think that was the case here. They were here 30 or 40 minutes, whereas everybody up to that point was only here about 10 minutes. So, you know, it was pretty brief on showings. You know, even my inspection was 10 minutes. So I guess you can really look a place over in 10 minutes. Me personally, I think if you're trying to get a feel for it, you're going to see people here longer. I didn't have the membership of RingCam anymore. I let it expire because I'm selling the house, but I could see when they're coming and going, or I could see when they were gone. So I just went around the corner, sat in my truck, parked, killed time and waited, and 10, 15 minutes later I got to go back. But you basically don't live in your house anymore when it comes to doing what you want to do. You can't make any smells that you don't want to have, so you got to really watch for that. And old people, you don't want to have dirty sheets. It will stink it up. But you know, there's a lot of little things you can't do. Can't be regular living, really. I really tidied up, and then I had what I call my party pile. It's, you know, it's my billfold and keys and all my junk and my glasses and my phone, and so it's all my stuff. Anyway, I have my little party pile by a chair. I sit in the chair, I turn the TV on, I watch TV with my party pile next to me, then I pick it up when I get a showing and walk out, and I don't touch anything else. You know, it was a pain in the butt. So anyway, now we finally got a contract. Yay, it sells, it's all easy. No, this is when it starts to get to be more of a pain in the butt. And there is a happy ending to this. I think it's coming. But, you know, you finally sells, you get a contract. I had 2 contracts in one day, so I had multiple offers. Oh my, pick one. I hope this is the one that goes through. Obviously, I made a pretty good choice because we are just about to the point of what they say, released to close, or whatever, approved to close, or whatever. So we're real close to that point at this time. I've already quit my job. That's another scary process. You know, I kind of need the job to stay here. I have a couple of weeks of vacation, so I'm going through that. But anyway, you know, and it is helping. It allows me to get all of this stuff done. So I'm really banking on a close. I told my boss, I said, I might be coming back for a couple extra shifts, so don't take me off the system yet. But anyway, to make a long story short, things are tracking well for the closing for me. However, now I got to get out completely. And I'm telling you, this is a pain. It's kind of almost for me by myself, and I'm doing this completely by myself. This is pretty much a 12-hour day job. You know, I get up in the morning, have my coffee, and then I'm already boxing stuff up and doing things. And then even in the evening, if I got a little YouTube playing or something like that, you know, I'll let it play and do something in the background, like packing up kitchen. I think I've reorganized the kitchen 16 times, so now I can operate in the kitchen and then put it all in one box when I leave. You know, I have my little salt and pepper and sugar and a little butter and, you know, the main things that it takes: toast and bread and jelly and peanut butter and cereal and then, you know, bag of potatoes. And I can make meals there, and then whenever I leave, I just carry it out in one box. So I kind of keep sharpening it down with my evening hours to try to make it super easy. I think I'm within an hour of getting out up here. You can kind of see boxes of stuff, and this is another load going to the door. So anyway, now it is, you know, first I got the dumpster. You got to put stuff in the dumpster. There's no way you can take it all. This is stuff that you paid for. But you just finally got to make a decision. I don't have room for it. I'm moving to a small cabin, and I've got a 20 by 10 storage. 20 by 8 storage. It's a container. So I'm trying to squeeze everything in that, and I did that on purpose because I really don't want to have more material things. So I'm trying to kind of keep it down to that, and I'm pitching everything else. I did hire the neighbor next door. He's coming over in a couple hours, and we're going to, work on getting this cleaned up. And getting it in the dumpster. And then, of course, I've got all the boxes, and I've been taking them to the place that I'm moving to, and to storage, to the cabin. I'll call it the cabin, and I'll get to share that with you. It's wonderful. And then, let's see, we got giveaway. You got to give it away. People that want it, family. They've already got the jewelry. They've already got all the stuff that I don't really need anymore. The family should inherit. So, wife's rings, all that stuff. I'm single retired guy now. So, you can sell some things. I sold quite a bit on Facebook, Marketplace. I actually like Facebook Marketplace quite a bit. I'm going to arrange a way to be able to continue to do that where I'm going. Might even build a building that's kind of up on the road, and then I can even hang the shingle out there and sell some things on occasion. It sure doesn't hurt for an old guy to be able to get rid of stuff like that. So it's one of the decisions you want to make too is you want to sell it, but then you think, well, I don't have time. So do you pitch it or sell it later? There's a lot of those. Oh, this has value, man. I just hate throwing it away. Maybe I'll sell it later. So you end up taking more stuff that you really want to take. You realize, well, I don't really need it, but these are really cool lamps, and I got 16 lamps, and they're mid-century. What do you do with all this stuff? I got a one-room cabin. So I'm kind of setting up maybe an opportunity to be able to sell by the roadside, my gosh. And I'm going to try to make the best of everything. And if I accumulate something along the way, it's going right back out the door, and I'm getting rid of it too. So who knows? Maybe I'll even make a little money on that idea. You've kind of gotten rid of everything now. It's either hit the dumpster, you've moved, you've given away, you've sold it, you've taken all of the extra stuff you're going to sell. It's packed up in the car. Now get out. Now the hard deadline. Mine is in about 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks now. I actually realized I'm only going to be here a couple days here, a couple days there, and I'm done. I mean, I'm actually taking a load tomorrow. We're filling the dumpster today. I'm taking a load tomorrow for 3 days. I come back for 3 days, get another load. Then I go back down for 3 days, and then I come back to close, and we're done. There's your week and a half right there. I mean, it goes quick. So I got to get out. I got a hard deadline. It's coming up. And when that hard deadline, they do a walkthrough. About the only thing I want them to find in here, unless it's the morning of, is my rollaway. If it's the morning of, the rollaway is going in the truck. So I love rollaways. They are great for guests, and they are great for me right now because all the furniture is gone. I'm down to one dining room hutch, and the realtor bought it from me for $100. It's a pretty nice one. So she got a deal, and I made a little bit of money on that. So look how that goes. Anyway, yeah, I hate it. I hate all of this stuff. But you know what? It is a cleansing. It's a period of time where you can kind of get rid of things. If you think you're going to downsize, if you think you're going to get rid of your house, think about it ahead of time. Kind of get a little of the little things done as you go along, because I'm doing just as much a touch-up. I pulled all the nails in the house, and I got me a little bit of that spackle stuff that's supposed to be self-curing, and it's actually a spot filler, and it's real special for it, $5 for this little tube. But anyway, I'm running around the house and hitting all the nail holes and making sure everything looks good, and the best I can anyway. And occasionally here and there I'll actually wash a part of the wall. It makes it look a little bit better, but I can't go crazy or I'll end up with wash streaks. So anyway, I'm trying to leave as nice of a house as I can. So Anyway, the goals will be met. That will be exciting. I'm going from trying to support this house. And if you're downsizing, that's the big deal. Are you finally to the point where you're really supporting an albatross, an old life? I'm retiring on my equity, completely retiring on my equity. So, I think it's a great thing if you've got any kind of an equity and you say you have $300,000 in equity and you can get a little small tiny home or little cabin or shed to house conversion or whatever. If you can get that for $150,000 and it has no bills to it, I mean, it's little, the taxes are cheaper, you can stick it wherever you want, kind of get out of the busy part of town if you want to. I'm off in woods, so it's going to be exciting for me, but my place was cheap and it's now paid for, and I can take my equity, and this is a small house, there's not a lot of equity, but there's enough that I can maybe slip a little into Bitcoin and do what I can with it. I'm going to try to keep it relatively liquid. I like the idea of gold and silver, but just so hard to get rid of. Anyway, you guys take care. Enjoy the transition. I know it's awful. It's awful. Face it. But put your head down. I used to go to a job. This is no harder than a dang job. I'm just in a moving company right now, but it loads your brain down a lot. So I'll be glad to get through this and get where I'm going. And then you know what? I'm going to have a day where I don't have nothing to do. So I'm really looking forward to that. So thanks for joining up with me. I'm single retired guy Bill. I appreciate you. Like and subscribe. Follow me for more. I appreciate you.